How to overcome fear, pain, anger, negative emotions. When you're in pain and those around you want to help you, what do they say? Don't worry, time heals all wounds. I'm not the only person who hates that, right? Because that's no different than you going up to someone saying, hey, I've got gasoline on my foot and it caught on fire and I'm burning, help me. And it's like that person saying, don't worry, in due time the fire will put itself out. It's just not helpful. Plus, it's wrong. Timothy McVeigh, emotionally scarred as a child, years go by and he ends up blowing up people. Adolf Hitler grows up scarred as a child, years go by, he ends up committing one of the worst episodes of genocide in history. But it's not just horrible people. It's also very good people, whom after one moment of emotional pain, after one moment of scarring, even after years and years go by, they're still trying to overcome that pain. And all the decisions in their lives reflect an avoidance of pain. Mommy issues, daddy issues, trust issues, authority figure issues. You see where I'm going? Time does not heal all wounds. We'll go into why it doesn't at facebook.com/Daoism, DAOISM. So if time doesn't heal all wounds, how do you overcome pain, fear, depression? Some of the more common and ineffective, extremely temporary solutions might include prescription medication, pleasure seeking, substance abuse, and there's a lot more, right? These are ineffective because what you're trying to do is climb out of a deep well by swimming around in circles. It's like throwing a rope up into the air and trying to climb it before it falls back down. If you're trying to climb up out of anahata, you've got to secure your ladder in vishuddha. You're frustrated about your income and your dead-end job, but you're too afraid to take risks because you've lost everything once before. You're lonely and depressed, but you can't commit to a permanent relationship because you're afraid you might get hurt again. Okay, stop. Did you notice something there? The negative emotions that you're trying to overcome may look like they're rooted in the past, but they're not. You can't get to your destination if you're starting in the wrong place. So how do you permanently overcome negative emotions, especially if they're recurring? You've taken risks before. You've asked for a pay raise and you got shot down. You've taken on bigger projects and you remember failing miserably. You've given all of your heart before and you remember the very moment it was torn apart by your lover who betrayed you. Do you see the pattern now? Your emotions are not governed by time. Your emotions are governed by memories. Your emotions, negative or positive, empowering or crippling, are not changed by, they're not governed by time. Your emotions are governed by memories. Knowledge. Now let's introduce some knowledge. Your boss didn't give you that pay raise because he knew that if he gave you a pay raise, his bosses would notice you. And he was so intimidated by how smart you are, how well you do your job, that if his bosses noticed you, you'd get promoted twice and you'd be your boss's boss. That lover who betrayed you was so insecure about you that they had nightmares about you leaving the relationship. They figured acting out first was the only way to protect their feeble little heart. If you're depressed about not being able to pay the rent that's due in 3 days, but the next day, you learned what the winning lotto numbers would be, how would that change your negative emotions? So how do you overcome negative emotions? Just find that tiny little magical key, that one little bit of knowledge that has the power to let you overcome any negative emotion. Okay, wait, how do you do that? How do you go about finding magical keys of knowledge? That we'll cover in episode 2. You'll find it at facebook.com/Taoism. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you click the share button. I'd enjoy it. Let's see how many of your Facebook friends we can brighten up.